Hello everybody, my name is Jodie Baker and I'm speaking to you today from Melbourne, Australia. Thank you for having me. I am the Deputy Chair of the Australian Legal Technology Association and also the founder and CEO of a company called Zarkia Technologies, an in-house legal software. Today I'd like to talk to you about the Australian legal landscape and in particular the journey of the Australian Legal Technology Association, because I think that it accurately reflects where we are as an industry here in Australia and actually where we are globally in the legal industry. ALTA began its life in 2017 in January when I was having lunch with a friend of mine who was also part of a company building legal technologies. Both of us looked around in the Australian market and were disappointed to find that there was no real ecosystem around legal technology here. With no ecosystem, there was nowhere for us to really go for ideas, to test our ideas, for guidance, or even to reach the market and the end buyers about the things that we had to sell and how we could sell them and sell them effectively. It also meant that it was very difficult for buyers to be able to find us at times. And so we were intent on making this ecosystem a little more lively, and we pulled together half a dozen or 6 or 7 people for a first meeting so that we could start to discuss how a legal technology ecosystem might come together and just so that we could learn from each other. That was in February 2017, and before the end of that year, we found that our number had grown to about 10. And that there was an increasing amount of interest from law firms and in-house counsel, governments, and even universities and the semi-public sector to find out more about the legal technologies that were in the market. With that in mind, we formalised ALTA at the beginning of 2018, and that was the beginning of an incredible journey and an explosion in legal technology, both in Australia and globally. No doubt you'll hear at the conference this week about the explosion in funding in legal technology globally, and that has been reflected here in Australia. Our founding membership was about 12 or 13 legal technology companies, and by the end of 2018 that number was nearly 50, and as at today that number stands at 56. And that's 56 dedicated legal technology companies, not law firms building legal technology and not technology companies building a bit of legal, but actually companies that are dedicated to legal technology, which is pretty impressive for a population of less than 30. Of course, all of the legal technologies here have ambitions well beyond the Australian shores, and so we see many of them heading out into the globe, operating in the US, South America, the EMEA region, and of course the Asia Pacific region, which is a little closer to home. Some of the success stories out of Australia have been quite phenomenal, and we are very excited by being able to pull together in one association many of these success stories. Unfortunately, the explosion in legal technology, both in Australia and globally, has meant that the buyers are experiencing a very noisy landscape, and the fever pitch has made it much more difficult for you, the buyers, to wade through the noise and find what it is that you need to achieve the productivity and efficiency gains you need in a more for less, or indeed even less for less, sort of an environment. Of course, luckily for us, we have the Law IT team or other consultants who are able to assist with wading through that noise and finding the solutions that really will assist you. Perhaps just one last point before I sign off. Zarkia is an in-house legal software, and we are very excited to be helping our clients wade through that noise a little. We do generate a lot of materials that are designed for helping you to identify where your efficiency gains might be and to pull together all of your legal technology tools into one hub. And that is, of course, if you're an in-house team. Thank you for having me today. We're very excited about where legal technology is going in Australia and indeed globally. We have an Australian Legal Technology Conference not long after your conference in May, at the very end of May, and we're looking forward to having about 250 delegates for our very first conference. So that's in less than 2.5 years, from just a lunch with just 2 of us looking for an ecosystem to a conference with more than 250 delegates. Australian legal technology is taking on the world, but indeed legal technology is taking over the world too. So it's great to see the interest, and thank you very much for your time today.